Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm finally home. So after 3 weeks of being in Brisbane and then being at LZ Fest, I finally got a weekend at home to myself. So I'm making an exhaust manifold for the JZ. I started piecing it together a little bit just before I left, like the day before I left. So this is how far I've gotten. So I've made one runner to sort of situate where the collector wants to go. This is a airflow like cast stainless collector that I bought from them because they're like 170 bucks. So for me to make that time wise, it's a no-brainer just to buy that already cast. Then I don't have to worry about it splitting anywhere where the heat is in that one spot. So yeah, just stainless schedule 40 or whatever they call it pipe. I made a fuck up when I ordered it the first time. I bought this big shit to start with because I thought it was this stuff, but that's like 40 mil ID or something. So I was meant to buy this shit, which is 35 or something, I think, something like that anyway, or 32. Yeah, it's nominal size, nominal bore is like 32. So yeah, it's that size. The other stuff was nominal, like nominal bore 40 or some shit. But yeah, I got the small stuff. The bigger stuff doesn't fit in between the studs, so that's why I can't use it. Otherwise, it would be nice to use. I think, I don't know what it's like for performance. It probably slows down the exhaust speed actually, like the gas speed being bigger pipe. So you'd have to generate more in the cylinder to spool the turbo. So this stuff should be quite quick spooling anyway. So yeah. I'm just gonna, it would be nice to have that little click together set that you can bloody pre-make it all and see where it's gonna all go and then make your actual pipe off that, but I don't have that luxury. So all I've done is just tacked the collector to a bit of pipe or bit of bar then, weld it to the, tacked it to the subframe, set that where I want it. I've already positioned the turbo on that and it looks quite nice there. So yeah, the next step is to just make a whole bunch of runners and then figure out the order to weld it all in, because I imagine if I tack it all in place there's going to be some spots that are going to be really shit to weld. So I'm going to have to tack it all together, make sure I like it, and then sort of pull it all apart in pieces and weld it kind of separately but kind of not. I don't know, we'll cross that bridge when we get there anyway. So yeah, new manifold for the 1.5J. I also bought a new throttle body too. Just a China boy. I originally brought a the wrong one from them. They measured it not how I thought they measured it. I bought a 90mm throttle body, but they sent me didn't realise they measured it internal diameter for some reason. This is my fault not thinking, because I got it like on a whim from AliExpress. So I ended up ordering the 80mm, which has the 3.5 inch silicone joiner, fits around it nicely. So yeah, it's 90mm outside kind of. So yeah, got that one. Got a 90mm here if anyone wants to buy one, cheap as fuck. So to replace my old one, because I kind of fucked this one trying to make it work and make it look nice and slim. So it is what it is. These throttle bodies aren't too bad. The only thing I would suggest if you're going to buy a Chinese throttle body or any throttle body, Loctite those fucking bolts that hold the butterfly in there. Green Loctite or whatever, red Loctite, the shit that's fucking won't let you remove it at all. Or even peen the ends over on the backside or something. Heard of many stories of those loosening off and killing really expensive motors. So save yourself some dollars and just Loctite those or peen them over. Other than that though, they're pretty good. Like, no difference between one of those and a fucking flash one really. It's still but steel, isn't it? It's just got a fancy name. So yeah, let's get cracking onto that anyway. I'm going to get some more pipe sort of situated and see what runner I can make next. I don't really know what runner or how to position them. Like, I don't know if this one's going to go to there, or this one's going to go to there, or that one's going to go there. Probably just make that one go to there, and then this one here can go there. I'm not too bothered about tune length stuff. really. This turbo, it's just going to get pushed through there anyway. Be more concerned on an NA where it actually has to scavenge the exhaust out because it's not being sort of forced through what it goes. I don't know. I'm not a tuner or a performance guy. Alright, so I'm thinking about doing something like this. So, have a bend there. I don't know if you can see that or not. Maybe. That one there, so it comes close to the other runner. Like yay-ish. And then that one out of there, and then a little straight in between. Something like that. Just, you have to make sure you can get that bolt there. The main reason for this too is because the old Cinco I had, the runners were designed like to interfere with the spanner when you try to put the spanner or socket when you try to put the bolts in. So there are a couple that were very poor to do up. So when I'm making this one, I'm gonna make certain that I can get a tool on there to do it up and shit. So yeah, that's not the only reason I'm making this. I just wanted to make one for the sake of making one, but one of the one of the reasons was that. So yeah, I will pretty much just. I'm pretty much just going to hold this where I think, and I might just go give that a quick tack, that piece, quick tack like that, and then I can work with it a bit easier because it's so hard to work with 5 individual pieces of pipe. Alright, I got my first bit welded up here after cleaning up my welding helmet. The joys of not using it for like 3 weeks and just leaving it in the shed. There were spiders in it, so I had to fucking go fly spray it to get them all out of it. And now I'm paranoid that they're crawling all over my head still, even though there was nothing left in it. So, but yeah, anyway, bit of a tangent from the actual fucking job, but that there, once welded onto that runner, should look not too bad like that. Alright, I've got this thing off the motor now, just in the vise here, just so it's a bit easier to stack the pipes and position everything with it right in front of me. So the plan is to have this close runner here go to number 2, this runner here go to number 3, and then decide afterwards where each one of these ones goes. Probably stack it the same as this side, so this outer one here will be number 6, this one here will be number 4, and then this one will be number 5. But we're just going to have to swoop them in a way that they all avoid each other, so it's quite tight in here. So I've got this one angled there, and I'm going to stack that one really close to there, like that, and angle it kind of at the port. Just have a straight come off it, and then I really should buy some 45s so I don't have to cut these in 45s with a grinder because they're not overly accurate. Plus, once I've cut them, they don't have the bevels on them. It's easy enough for me to bevel them, but it's nicer to buy the 45s with the bevels already on them. But we'll see how we go. So with that one there, it should pretty much angle pretty close to the port. I'll put it straight on it. I might have to trim the M. What the fuck am I speaking? I might have to trim just a little bit off, just to shallow the angle up just a fraction, but we'll see how it goes. So that one there, and then with the one on the back side that's going to go to port 3, it's going to interfere a little bit with the pipe here, as you can see, so I might have to build it up with like 10 mil of straight added into this piece, then it can swoop under this pipe and then just go straight up into there. So should work out all okay. It's just a bit fiddly getting everything to sit right, and then yeah, once it's all tacked together, I'm gonna have to decide where is the most difficult spots to weld and do that first away from everything else, because I mean in here, as you can tell, when you've got a pipe like that, up in there is going to be pretty difficult to weld. So we'll, like in that gap there and stuff, so we're going to have to become creative to get that. I might have to get a bigger cup for the welder here. I've only got a small one on there. I've got a bigger cup. We've got more gas coverage and I can stick the tungsten out a decent amount. So yeah, I might invest in a bigger cup or get a few sets of cups and stuff. Hopefully be able to get the torch in there. So yeah, we'll just carry on and see how we go. I've got this sort of tacked together and positioned that there. And if we look at the gap there, we've got kind of a 45. I might get a 45 cut, so it's like this. And then see if we can get one stacked in there. This here might need a little bit of a tweak upwards, possibly, but I'll kind of 45 and we'll see how close it is. And then if it fits in there once we twist this one, that'll be bloody spot on. Alright guys, I don't like to brag, but I'm going to. I've cut the 45, I've got it positioned there, and we are just a little bit high, as you can see. Just a fraction high. So, that's pretty close for a guess. What I might do here is, I was thinking about maybe trimming this where it bolts to the flange, maybe trimming like that height out of that so it sits just a little bit lower on here. I don't think it's going to matter too much with the radius because it's quite tight anyway, so I don't think me trimming like 2 mil, not 2 mil, like 5 mil off that. I'll measure it anyway, see how much it needs to come off, and I'll just trim that down so it sits a bit lower. This one doesn't matter with the bolt because there's no bolt under it, it's to the right here, so if the bend's a little bit closer to the flange, it's not going to matter tool wise because I'll still be able to get a spanner on that obviously, and then the top ones are up there nice and easy, so that'll be sweet. How good. Right, I've tacked this pipe on, as you can see, so that's our height difference there. You can see that? So that height difference there is, I'm just going to trim it out of the bottom of here so it sits down flush, and that'll be runner number 2 tacked together. 4 more to go. I can see why these are cost so much now. Got a little bit trimmed off here, and I totally didn't check this before I started recordings, but live action fitment here, totally not rehearsed, looking pretty sweet I reckon. How good. So I'll tack that there, and that'll be that one complete. Alright, starting on the third runner here, pretty much just going to loop right around from this outside port to the third port there, but obviously with that second runner there being in the way, we're going to have to add a bit of a section in there, so I'm just going to guess that. No, I'll probably measure it actually once it's oh, a bit of clearance there. Yeah, I'll probably set it about there, so we need about 15 mil of straight added into that, and that should be bloody kosher to clear really. Alright, I was just beveling this piece of straight here, and it came to my attention that some of you guys that maybe watch me might not know the reasoning, and since I wanted to be informative, I thought I'd tell you why I bevel this shit. Obviously with thinner pipe you don't bevel it because it's so thin, like cooler piping, but with this thicker shit, this schedule pipe's got quite a thick wall on it. So you imagine if you've got a piece of pipe that is like that, and then you butt another one up without a bevel, and it's like that, the weld actually sits like on the outside of the pipe like that, so it's only grabbing there and there on the pipe. Whereas if you had a beveled pipe, this is difficult on this piece of cardboard, like the bevel like that, and you put the other one up to it like that and butt it up, you've actually got this channel here, so the weld actually sits there and it's grabbing like way more surface area, and then it doesn't protrude and look ugly as well. But yeah, it's like how pipelines, like gas lines, like big oil field lines, are that big thick shit, and you see them like the massivest bevels on stuff, and that's the reason. See, if you look at the pipes when they go together, you've got the channel for the weld to sit in, so it grabs way more. Bang. So yeah, if you didn't know, I'm sure a lot of you did know, but for anyone maybe new that has subbed or started watching me, tips with Jesse. Alright, I've got this piece tacked on here, sort of got it lined up with the port. I've only got it tacked on one spot just so it's easy to remove when I need to change it if I do. But lining this one up here, we can see that our pipe's going to be not quite right. So what I'm going to do is so if we lift this one up here, we can get it to look pretty spot on. So that gap that's there, I'm going to trim the back side of the pipe off, so then it's flat when it bolts up like that. Not bolts, when it matches up like that. So hopefully I'll trim it, get that close, and then cut a bit of straight pipe that fits in there, and then hopefully with a bit of hair there, tweaking and trimming, we get it to line up beautifully, mate, beautifully. But it's coming along pretty nicely. Nice and short, not massive runners. This one here is going to be a little bit longer than the other ones, but the back one's going to be longer than the rest anyway, because the turbo sits a little bit forward just to clear the strut down. Yeah. Alright, we've got it pretty well lined up. Aside from this end here, it kind of needs to just go like that, and then it needs to just go down a little bit. So I think we need to take like 2 or 3 mil off the pipe here, so we can shift this down just a fraction, and then probably we'll put a little bit of an angle on it so it closes that gap. But other than that, she's looking pretty sweet. How good. Right, I've got I've got all 3 runners, the front 3 runners tacked on. So I've just put it on the car to see what it looks like, fitment wise. We've got enough clearance under there for the engine mount, etc. So she's looking the part. I might go grab the turbo from inside and sit it on there, make sure it's like, I'm still happy with the position in case anything shifted, but I don't think it did. Alright, I put the turbo on, so that's how it's going to sit. Probably, it's not too close to the rocket cover really. It's got a little bit of room there. Probably couldn't go a bigger housing, turbine housing, but we're not going to go with a bigger one anyway. Looks alright in there. Got heaps of clearance on this side, which is nice because we're obviously going to have the 90 off here, 60, 50mm pipe here for the wastegate. That way, yeah, we'll go backwards and just stuff the screamer back down there, I think. At least we can stuff it on the other side, because I'm going to try and make these runners here like tuck in quite close to the motor, so then the dump pipe has heaps of room to slip down here, maybe even in this recess a little bit that I've made since the flywheel's a bit bigger down in there. Maybe I can slip the screamer pipe down that side as well, because I don't really like it close to these power steering lines. I mean, I can put a heat shield over them, but yeah, we'll see what happens once I finish the rest of the runners. Alright guys, next day I'll come out making a start on the next set of runners. I've had a look at some drawings of how other companies design these manifolds to clear the exhaust. So what a lot of them are doing is, so instead of copying this side and having the outside one, this one here, instead of having it go under like the other one, is they step these two closer to the block up to here, and then this one comes over that way, so it makes like a hollow for the exhaust pipe to run down. So I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, because I'd hate to make it just like this on the other side and then the exhaust end up not fitting down the back of the engine bay there. So I was just taking a piece of pipe together, and I thought I'd show you guys something about the the word I was trying to find in the clip the other day was for when you don't purge weld. It looks like sugar. As you can see in there, wow, I'll get the sunlight on there. You can see where the tacks come through, and it kind of looks sugary. That's from not purging it. That's because the weld's broken through, and because there's no gas on the inside, it's not shielded like it would be on the outside. So it goes all that porosity looking sugar style fucking gross stuff. You can get away with it with the other pipes because they've been cut like nice and flat, so they butt up together and there's no air gap. Like for the most part there's no gap, so the weld doesn't actually break all the way through to the other side. It sort of fills that V and holds there. But since I've cut the straight pipe just with a grinder and try to get it as flat as possible, it's some spots there might be like a little bit of air gap, so the weld actually can break through. And since it's not shielded yet on the inside because I'm only tacking it, yeah, it does that. So I'll have to clean that up there, because that's the sort of shit we don't want going through the turbine wheel, because that'll be Chernobyl. So yeah, bit of a tech tip. Alright guys, I've been coming out, well, I wouldn't say I haven't been coming out, I come up last night but didn't film anything. I just did one runner when I came out last night. I plan to do just a runner after work, one runner after work every night for the week, and then hopefully weld it up in the weekend. But yeah, I got this one here done. So I looked at some other designs, so yeah, of how they're routing these. So this one here is going to be our back one here, but instead of our top one here wrapping underneath to that one, we're going to wrap it over the front and in, so that way, because we've got our engine mount here, I think. I don't want to stack them too low, and if it has to go under this one, I think it's going to be far too long. This one kind of had to come down low to make clearance for this one to come out over here, because yeah, we need to keep these ones kind of tight in this corner, like in this area, so then the dump pipe can sort of still come down to this area. So yeah, it was a little bit of fiddling around with getting all this lined up. I had to trim this one just on a slight angle. You probably can't really tell too much. I just take a little bit off just to get that gap close up nice and square, but just get in there. I'm just starting on this one. Right, for this one section here, I think I come up with an idea. Got this here, I think I already trim it down so then it kind of matches that level there. I'm going to do that and then fill that with a straight, so that way from the top it's like tucked nice against the second runner, not fully tucked or touching obviously, but you know, it doesn't look so weird, I suppose, with the, I think the bend earlier was going to look too gross, so if we step it back there and put it straight in there, I think it's going to look okay. So I'm going to tack that on there. Well, first I'll shape the bevel on this end, tack that in there, measure up how much of a straight I have to cut, and then slip that in there, and then that should be that runner done. Then it'll just be the last one to go. Hopefully I've got enough bends left. What's that? Straight with that, I've got one bend, two bend, I've got 4 bends left, so surely that's enough to do the last runner. So fucking guessed that right, didn't I? Alright, there we go. Got it trimmed and adjusted and tweaked, so then the gaps were very minimal, which is nice and what we want, so we don't get any of that blow through shit happening on the, you know, even though we're going to be purging it, but get it as tight as possible so we get the best finish ever. So yeah, sweet. One night, or another night down, another runner down. So yeah, I'll do the last one tomorrow night, because I need to have dinner. So I'll put it on the engine actually and see what it looks like in the engine bay. Alright, dummy her up on there. I ended up just welding a couple of little extra ones on here just to get my mind going for tomorrow. So it's going to be pretty close actually. Just going to have pretty much a little bend out of there, another little bend there, and it's going to just be straight in there. So it should be pretty sweet. I'm not so sure if I like this look here, because we've got all swooping bends coming out and then that's just like square, but in saying that, it does give us a lot more room here for a dump pipe to swoop in and down, which is what we effectively want. And we're not going to really see the back runner from the top or from anywhere anyway, so I might just have to live with it, with how it looks like that. It's just not overly pretty because of how it just 45 straight 45. It would be nice if it was a swooping bend to follow that one, but if it was a bend we'd lose a lot more room for the dump pipe, so I might just have to live with it. So yeah, good progress tonight. I'm still not looking forward to welding the whole thing up though, because some of those places look very tight. But we'll come out tomorrow and do that last runner and then yeah, go from there. Alright guys, I was trying to record the last of that runner last night, but the camera kept on powering off and going to sleep even though it had like 20% left on it, so I've had to put it on charge. But I ended up getting the runner done. That's it there. So this is the entire manifold all tacked together. I'm just heading down to work now, just to, well, I was going to grab the the argon regulator at work, because it's got another port on it for purging. So but I'll probably just end up welding it while I'm down there, because I used it yesterday, and some of the stainless welds I did yesterday for something at work turned out not too bad, so I might just use it while I'm down there for a bit. Alright guys, like I was saying before, I have to come up with a solution to get this welded in such a way that it works out good. So what I'm thinking is cutting like the first runner off here, taking that section out. We'll weld this piece in, because wow, yeah. See, getting side by side, like getting in there with the torch is going to be pretty shit, so like that's going to have to be welded first, then this one added in and somehow welded around, and then this section added in, and then somehow get the torch up in there. So it's going to be a nice fun one, but if I could take it out in sections and do the easy parts and then join it all together afterwards, and then not struggle too much in a few spots, then hopefully it works out okay. Wish me luck. Alright, we've got these two runners off, so I'm going to have a go at welding around this one. Doesn't look too bad to do. I should be able to get right around that pretty easily, and then hopefully I can do the next one. I'm contemplating actually just welding these like on the bench, and then just welding it in place at the end. So I should be able to get that one on there and weld around there with this piece out of the way, with that runner out of the way, and then final weld on this one and then fit this one up. And I should, because it's stepped up with a bit of straight, should be able to get the torch in around there. I'm hoping. Might be a little fiddly, but I think it'll work, and then I can cut the other three off and repeat it, sort of the same procedure-ish. Oh, some progress. I've stripped it just about all off. It's got these runners on here. I managed to get the weld around this one. I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to run the weld around that one, and then I'm hoping I can get the rest of them. It's going to be quite tight. This collector kind of needed to be a little bit longer, like maybe an extra 15mm casted longer, so then that the ends of them were further apart again, and then they could get the torch in there. But people have used them before, so why can't I? And sorted it. I think we'll be right. Alright guys, I have got all but these two pipes off. So these ones are the most difficult ones probably to get to towards the end, so I'm going to weld them fully up first. So just set the purger up. I just blocked that end, just all the ports with some tape on the top as well. So then we've just got argon flowing through here, and it should just fill this pipe here and then just start leaking out all the holes here. I've got another breather hole on the tape on the other side just to let it breathe a little bit, but should have argon flowing through there. If these holes are any bigger, I'd probably cover them up while I'm doing each one individually, but they're pretty tight, so we're not going to get much leakage. So with the pipe full of argon, we shouldn't have any like grossies on the inside when it's getting welded when we get through, if we blow through. So these ones that I welded here fully without the argon, I checked them down through the collector, and I can't see any like that sugary stuff you get when it when the weld isn't covered by argon. So pretty sweet there. I might put a long dive grinder bit down there anyway, just give it a quick just to make sure, but from what I've seen it looked pretty sweet, so we shouldn't have anything go through the turbo. So yeah, I'm going to get these things two fully welded up, and then I'll probably weld up all these individually on the bench here. That way I can just put the argon in one end and block the other end, and get those all done. It's probably best if I use what do you call it, like aluminium foil to block the ends, and use that because it, you know, for the heat and shit. But I've only got tape here, so we'll just have to make do with that. You're probably wondering too about warpage. I just had a thought about that. Yes, I've taken it into consideration. What I'm going to do is get these pipes welded on. Hopefully it doesn't bow too much. It should be okay. and I'm gonna bolt it to a piece of fucking RHS, some thick wall shit. I'll bolt it to that once I'm ready to like weld all the other ones on, because that's when it will pull. Like all those being welded separate will be fine. It's not till I like weld them to the collector and then to the flange where it'll try to pull it all around. So yeah, I'll bolt it up to something before I do all that. So in case you're fucking wondering. Alright, I have welded both these runners all the way up, not to the head flange though. I'll do that last so I can have it bolted to something. But yeah, not too bad. Not a professional welder, but proficient enough to look okay, I think. 2 down, 4 more to go, plus the gate port. But I haven't ordered a piece of pipe for that yet, but that'll be easy. Right guys, I don't know where that last clip cut me off. This thing's having a mare. It's like 20% and then it'll say low battery and power off halfway through me talking, so don't know. I ended up going down to work while this was on charge anyway, and I welded up all the, not all of them, I'm short one because I haven't welded up this one yet because I got some stuff on. So I've paused for a bit, but before I leave I've got all these 5 runners welded up. The welding's not too bad, I don't think. A couple spots it's probably not consistent, but for the most part it's it'll do. So yeah, I haven't fully welded it to the flange yet. I'm going to take the flange off and then just put when all the runners are welded on, just put it on the belt center and just square all the edges up on the runners, and then I'll just give this a nice clean so it's shiny, and then weld it to it. I got most of the pipes welded to the collector itself. Oh, not most of them, I got 3 of them done maybe? Yeah, got this one done, that one in there done, that one there done. I've just got to do this one and this one. What I ended up doing was cranking the gas up on the welder, so I like doubled the amount of flow with the big cup, and then put the tungsten like as far out as I could get it without it fizzing away, and I managed to get it out like quite far, like 20 mil or something. So I managed to get the tungsten like way in there to like just get the edges on some funky angles. So yeah, it worked out okay. Hopefully these last 2 are not too bad to do. This one here I can pretty much get a torch right around that one. I'll get that one easy, and then once this one here's on, I think this one goes under, so I should be able to get most of the way around that. I think one of them I ended up welding the inside, this one here. I couldn't actually get like one section of it, I think you'll see it down there. I couldn't actually get it, so what I did was went to the inside of the pipe because I had just this bit here welded on. I didn't have the rest of it, so I just put the torch on the inside and just welded the inside to seal it. So if it works, it works, I suppose. So yeah, not bad. I'm just about to sit on the car and just make sure all is okay after being hot. Alright, there we go. Just got it nipped up on one bolt. Looks pretty fucking spiffing in there actually. What do you reckon, fellas? Pretty good, not bad for a fucking shed fabricator, eh? I shouldn't say that, I've been doing it long enough that I should be able to do this sort of stuff, so. Sick. Might just go grab the turbo from inside and sit it on there, see what it looks like with the turbo on there. Alright, turbo's bolted on. Looks like it's still pretty sweet. Got enough clearance through there. I'll be able to step the exhaust off straight away, right there. Sweet. These pulsar turbos look not too bad, eh? Look at the bullet wheel in there. Looks pretty fucking good quality for a you know, cheaper option than a Garrett or a fucking Borg Warner or a Precision. Some of them like 1200 bucks. Looks pretty sweet. See how it goes, I suppose. See if we fucking pop one or not. I haven't heard anyone having issues with them. But fuck. Excited to get that one runner done up and then welded together and fully welded up, and then the wastegate poured on. It should be fucking all done, mate. How good. I got turbo bolted on, I got the housing position. I ended up buying a elbow to weld onto the turbo. I ended up getting another, I got a piece of 50mm for the wastegate port, so I'll sort this out as well. So hopefully I can weld that straight on there. We've got a nice bit of room, and I'll angle that so it's a bit more straighter or angled more towards the back of the firewall that way, so the gate sort of sits, you know, here. That way I can just aim the pipe straight down through, hopefully, this little gap here. It's probably going to take me a little while to bloody, you know, complete all this still at this point, and something with my finger. Wouldn't mind putting this video out right now, so yeah, this is going to be part 1 of me doing this. I think you guys are going to have to stay tuned for the next video to see how that all turns out, and for how the new manifold is going to come along too for Nate. So yeah, leave you guys hanging, I hope. So yeah, I will catch you guys on my next video then, if that's going to be the case. Like, comment, subscribe for me, please. Appreciate all the views you guys give me. So yeah, well yeah, we'll catch up in the next video where we'll have some more done on this. So yeah, stay tuned. Peace out. Whoa.